7 hours, 20 minutes. Jedi slows the Humvee to a stop and pulls up next to Matt's bike. They stare out at the Japanese container 500 yards away. "Anything?" Matt calls up to Jim in the gun turret.
"All quiet as far as I can see,"
Jim replies. Sophia and Cutter step out of the Humvee's rear door. They join Matt and Jedi. "How's it looking?" Sophia asks.
"Nothing doing,"
Matt tells her.
"Maybe I should go take a closer look."
"No way. The Humvee goes in first. You cover it from behind. That way, at least if someone comes out blasting, we all got some protection." Sophia turns to Jedi. "Take us in. Steady." She yells up to Jim. "You still okay up there?" Jim strokes the M2.
"We're all good."
"Okay then," Sophia says. "Everyone keep alert. Cutter?"
"Yep."
"You're with Jim. I'll ride up front with Jedi." The Americans take up their positions. Matt tucks in behind the truck. Cutter joins Jim, and they train their guns toward the green container. Sophia hops into the Humvee's passenger seat. She nods a "let's go" towards Jedi, and he starts the Humvee, then steers it toward the container. "My mouth's kind of dry," Jedi says. "Here," Sophia offers him some water. Jedi shakes his head. "I can't swallow." "Wet your lips, then." Jedi takes the water bottle and tips it over his head. The liquid cascades over his hair and down his face. He shakes his head, and water sprays off him. "Better?" "Yeah, but..." "But what?" Sophia asks. "Theoretically, I'm just not too wild about dying. So don't die, then." "I'll try not to." Jedi passes the water bottle back to her. "I'll try not to let you. Deal?" "Deal. Hey." "Yeah?" Jedi licks his lips. "I can swallow now." "You'll be fine, Jedi." Lloyd shouts from the rear of the container.
"What's happening out there?"
"For Christ's sakes, Lloyd, keep it down," Sophia says. "Looks like it's deserted. We're close. Nearly there."
"I figured. So let the kid get the code, and then we'll get the hell out of here."
"We're working on it, okay? Just settle down back there."
"You want to try settling down sitting back here in this metal oven? I feel like a fucking cooked turkey at Thanksgiving."
"Lloyd?"
"What?"
"Shh!" Sophia rolls her eyes at Jedi. He shrugs, then pulls up the Humvee 50 yards out from the container. The Americans strain their senses. The container appears to be unmanned, and its doors are all open. The Japanese flag on its side stands out clearly. "Jedi?" Sophia whispers.
"Yeah?"
"Drive around the container. I want to look inside." Sophia winds down her window and aims her pistol at the container. Jedi moves the Humvee in a slow arc. The Americans hold their breath as they approach the container's doors. Nothing stirs. The container is empty. Cutter calls down.
"Looks like no one's home."
The Americans drop their guard. Jedi stops the truck, and they disembark and gather around the container.
"A whole bunch of worry for nothing,"
Lloyd says.
"Well, better safe than sorry,"
Jim says. Matt hops off the dirt bike and joins Sophia at one set of container doors.
"So, what we got?"
Sophia looks inside the container. 10 empty bunks, that's all. Matt steps inside the container.
"Same digital clock, too."
"What's the count?"
7:14.
Sophia looks at the clock on Matt's collar. It continues to count down. 7:14:13, 7:14:12, 7:14:11. Matt says,
"Apart from this shitty green color everywhere, we got the same everything. Have to say, I prefer our orange. It's so much more in trend."
Lloyd calls over to Jedi.
"You got that code yet?"
I'm doing it. Jeez." Jedi moves around to the side of the container. He enters the 5 random numbers that are etched on the container's side into the remote. The remote emits a loud beep, and another blue LED lights up on the Americans' collars. Sophia and Matt walk over to Jedi and Lloyd.
"Only 8 to go. Lives or lights,"
Matt jokes. "Ignore him. Jedi, good call on the code," Sophia says. "Thanks." Jedi takes out his notebook. He copies down the 5 numbers that he's just entered into the remote.
"Think you can find us another one, kid?"
Matt asks. "Maybe," Jedi nods. Deep in thought, he wanders over to the Humvee and notes down the mile count on the truck's speedometer. After exploring the container's other compartment, Cutter and Jim emerge. More supplies? Cutter says,
Yep, same ammunition, same gasoline, same guns, same rations. All the same shit as what we got. Except this.
Jim holds up a small dead insect in his hand.
What the fuck's that thing?
Lloyd asks.
I think I know, but I just need to get me a closer look,
Jim says.
Here, hold it for me.
He holds out the insect toward Lloyd.
No way! I'm not touching it! It could be diseased!
Let me take a look. Sophia holds out her hand. Jim places the insect on the palm of her hand and calls over to Jedi.
Hey, son.
Yeah?
I'll be needing me a pair of those field glasses if you don't mind.
Jedi grabs the binoculars and takes them over to the old man. Jim walks a few steps away from Sophia, then studies the insect in Sophia's hand through the binoculars.
Is this some sort of joke?
Lloyd asks. Jim explains.
Well, I don't have my reading glasses with me, so I just need a better close-up look.
Jesus, you couldn't make this stuff up. Lloyd shakes his head.
Huh. Yeah, just like I thought.
Jim concentrates.
Thought?
Thought what?
It's an Arroya aurora, Jim says.
A horror what? Lloyd asks.
No, an Arroya aurora. It's a moth.
So what's the big deal about a dead moth? Lloyd asks. Jim explains.
There's only 2 countries in the world where the Arroya aurora inhabits, Peru and Bolivia.
What are you, some kind of insect detective?
It's a bit of a hobby of mine. When my wife died, I had to find something to fill the time. Always been kind of interested in bugs.
It's called entomology, Sophia says.
What is this, a fucking science lesson? Keep going with the country thing, Lloyd says.
Jim continues.
When a shipping container's unloaded, they get cleaned and swept out. It's a quarantine requirement, so they're ready for their next cargo.
Jim picks up the moth from Sophia's hand.
This little critter must have flown in when they were loading this container.
Which means the container must have been loaded in either Peru or Bolivia, Sophia says.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking,
Jim nods.
Oh, what a bunch of baloney. What's that got to do with anything?
Lloyd asks.
Well, judging by its condition, I would say our little friend here has only been dead for a few days. Probably drifted into that container same time as it was being loaded, which means this container's not had time to travel far.
So you're saying we're in South America? Matt asks.
Hot enough. I know that much,
Cutter agrees.
Well, I don't rightly know for sure, Jim says, but it's all we got to go on for the time being.
Least we're on Earth, I think, Matt says. The Americans are interrupted by a noise coming from the Humvee. Books staggers from the rear of the vehicle and leans back against its side to support himself. Books! Sophia calls out. Books blacks out and slides down the side of the truck and lands in a heap on the salt pan. Sophia runs over to help him. Matt watches her run. Something high in the sky catches his eye. Hey, you guys see that up there? Matt points.
Yeah, what do you think?
Cutter asks.
I think smoke,